Hey folks, and welcome to another video of mine. If you're new to my channel, then first of all, a big welcome and thank you so much for watching. And in case you're wondering what kind of content do I put out on my channel, then you can expect one tech related video on every Wednesday of the week, like the one that you're watching right now, and one lifestyle or food related video on every Sunday of the week. So with that said, today's video is going to be about the DJI Pocket 2. Now, in case you are following my channel, then you know that I got myself a DJI Pocket 2. I have used it quite a lot over the last few weeks, and in this video, through my experiences, I'm going to share the kind of settings that I keep my DJI Pocket 2 in, and what is the way to navigate the DJI Pocket 2 even without connecting it to a mobile phone or to a tablet. And lastly, I am also going to talk about the optimum settings for low lighting conditions. So that's what's in store for you in this video. Now that I've mentioned that, let's get started folks and take a deep dive into the DJI Pocket 2 and its various settings. Let's go. Let's get started folks. The first thing that I wanted to talk about is that the DJI actually has two power buttons. Now one in case you want a camera to face the other side, and one over here which is your main power button in case you want to start the camera facing yourself, that is selfie mode. Now what's the purpose of all this? Well, in case you want yourself to be recorded, you kind of end up saving a couple of seconds. Let me show you how. So when you power on the button using the selfie mode, the camera automatically faces towards you. So this helps you because you save a few seconds. Otherwise you will have to do this swipe. Oops, sorry, wrong swipe. Otherwise you'll have to swipe from the bottom and click on this so that the camera looks towards the other side. So that's why in case you want to pick up your DJI Pocket 2 and start recording in the selfie mode, then you save a couple of seconds by doing that. In case you don't want to start the camera in the selfie mode, then in that case press this little button here and then it faces towards the other side. So these are two ways how you can boot up your DJI Pocket 2. Now your DJI Pocket 2 has swipe functions from every side basically. So what do I mean by that? I'm just going to show you in a quick bit. For instance, if you click from the bottom, that is swipe from the bottom, then you have an option of readjusting the camera, that is flipping your camera so that it doesn't face you and instead faces the other side. Well, apart from that, you also have an option of recentering. So in case you want something to be recentered, then this is what you press by swiping down. Then you have this fast follow and slow follow feature. I generally keep it on slow follow because I think it's better for the kind of videos that I record, but you can play around with it and find out which option suits best depending on the kind of video that you're shooting. And then you have these various tilt options here, and it tells you, whether it's in the follow mode, whether it's tilt lock, or whether it's FPV mode. And again, these modes are there just so that it helps you in the different videos that you shoot. So depending on which type of video you're shooting, these modes can come handy. I'm not going to talk about that in this video, but maybe I can make another video. Do let me know in the comment section if you actually want me to comment on that. But in this video, I'm just going to quickly go over all the settings that you have available using all the swipes on the DJI Pocket 2. So that is from the bottom. Now we're going ahead and checking out what's available from the swipe up. So when you swipe from the top and when you bring it down, you have the settings option, and by clicking on the settings, you have full screen, you have selfie mode, you have accessories, you can take a look at the storage option, etc. So all these are there, and I'm just going to quickly click on that and then go back to this. Then you have a glamour mode. Now please note that the glamour mode is only available if you're recording in 1080p. It is not available in 4K. So if you want to record in 4K, the glamour mode will not work. And I generally do record most of my videos in 4K. So obviously the glamour mode is always off. Now there is an option of choosing your quality. You can either choose from these two options. The two options are high quality or battery saver mode. In case you are out on the road, if you do not have a power bank or if you do not have a battery available that you can connect your DJI Pocket 2 or a charge socket, then in that case you can switch over to the battery saver mode. And by doing that, you will save on the battery, but let me tell you that it does take a hit on the quality. In case you want to record high quality videos, I recommend that you keep it on the high quality mode, especially if you're doing low light videography. Then you also have the Pro mode. You have an option of either setting it off or putting it back on. I generally like recording in this Pro mode because it gives me an option of recording even in a flat profile. So that's why I choose this option over the other one. And then in case you have actually bought the DJI Pocket 2 combo pack, then in that case you can even connect your wireless microphone and you will have a green blinking light notifying you that you have connected the wireless microphone, and there'll be a mic icon out here as well, right next to the in fact right on the top bar here, and it will notify you that you're recording using the wireless microphone. Now that's your top and bottom swipes. Now if I take a look at this one, if I swipe right, then whatever videos I have recorded comes here and I can just take a look at all the videos. In case I want to play it, then I can play it and check it out. By the way, let me also tell you that the DJI Pocket 2 combo pack, you know, this do it all handle also comes with a speaker. So in case you want to play the video, you can actually play the video and hear the audio from these videos as well. In case you have clicked some pictures, all those things, you know, come here. So this is your, you could say, the gallery section. Yeah. So this is what is available in your swipe right. Now, if you swipe left, now these are all the modes that are available to you. You have your photo mode, you have your pano mode, you have your story mode, and then you have your video modes. Now any mode that you want to get into in detail, all you got to do is further swipe left again. So let's say, for instance, as an example, I'm in video mode and I want to record this video in 4K 16:9 aspect ratio. I have the different options of the frames that it's getting recorded at. I have 24 frames per second, I have 25, and I even have 30, 48, 50, 60. I generally record most of my videos in 24 frames per second, so that's why it's set at that. But in case you're recording slow-mo videos, then I recommend that you record in the 4K 60 option, and then you can slow down the video in the post. So these are the options available in the video. Similarly, you know, if I want to record, let's say in slow-mo, I have the option of that as well. I again swipe left if I want to do that, and it gives me an option of whether I want to record in 4x speed, 8x speed, and slow motion videos means that you won't exactly get 4K but 1080p. But there's a workaround. Like I said, if you want to record slow motion videos, then the workaround is that you record your video in 60 FPS and then you can slow it down in post. So you can bring it down to 30 FPS and it would just appear as a nice buttery smooth 4K slow motion video. So these are your various general setting options, and even if you're not connecting it to a mobile phone or to a tablet, you can navigate all these options from the DJI Pocket 2 itself. That's why this device is so good, it's so handy. You've got a touchscreen and the touchscreen works seamlessly. And that's what I love about the Pocket 2. The fact that even if I do not have a mobile or an iPad or a tablet connected, I can navigate almost anything that I want to using just the Pocket 2 alone. Alright, so no other device required. Another cool thing that you can do with your DJI Pocket 2 is connect it to an iPhone or an Android phone or even to a tablet. Now I know a lot of YouTubers generally make videos where they have connected their DJI Pocket 2 to their mobile phones and done that wirelessly. So you don't even need to use those adapters to connect to an iPhone or an Android phone. This adapter, you know, where you can change it to a USB-C adapter or an iPhone adapter. So generally, because of the fact that you have the Wi-Fi capability in your DJI Pocket 2, you can seamlessly connect it to any Android or any iOS device through the Wi-Fi. Let me show you how. And in this case, we're going to use the iPad. All you got to do is switch your DJI Pocket 2 on. There's an application called DJI app, the DJI Mimo app on your App Store or on your Play Store. And then you have an option of connecting to your DJI Pocket 2. And it's as simple as that. All you got to do is just click on that connect button. It just takes a bit to get connected to your DJI Pocket 2. And Well, while we are waiting for it, the beauty of connecting it to an iPad is the fact that you get all this real estate. Oops, sorry, I didn't click on that join button, so that's why it was taking a while. But now that I have, you will see that it gets connected almost instantly. So you have your DJI Pocket 2 connected to an iPad, and the beauty, like I was saying, of connecting it to an iPad is the fact that you get all this real estate. Look at all that real estate, and monitoring whatever you are capturing on your DJI Pocket 2 on a screen this big makes a difference. Why does it make a difference? Well, when you're recording on an iPhone, there are certain aspects which are just not visible on that small screen. So if you are capturing through your DJI Pocket 2, and if it's not a problem to connect to an iPad, if you have an iPad lying around or a big Android tablet, then the beauty is that you can even check minute details on a screen this big. So sometimes I have noticed that, when I have recorded using the DJI Pocket 2 and an iPhone, I never noticed anything wrong in that video getting recorded. But when I took it to post, I kind of missed out on certain areas, certain areas were just not in focus. But such a thing can actually be avoided using this big screen, because you can find out very clearly whether a certain area is in focus or whether it's out of focus. So it's definitely handy. Well, apart from that, it also has this yellow kind of a grid, which tells you or helps you in identifying whether an item is in focus or out of focus. But a lot of YouTubers generally do not show your DJI Pocket 2 connected to an iPad. And in this case, I thought I should just mention that it's so cool to be able to connect your DJI Pocket 2 to such a big monitoring device, and you can monitor anything that you're recording on your DJI Pocket 2 on your lovely iPad. While we are talking about the different options, and while we are still taking a look at the iPad, I did want to show you the options that are available in terms of settings from your DJI Mimo app, from within the app, that is. And there's an option of setting all your ISO or your shutter speed on either auto or on a manual mode. If you set it on manual, then you have an option of setting up everything manually, the shutter speed, the ISO, etc. But I generally keep it on auto because the DJI Pocket 2's auto mode is quite good. The colors are quite natural and vibrant, just as is. So I don't fiddle around with it a lot unless I'm shooting in low light. And that's what I learned over a period of time. And like I said, generally I do keep the resolution and FPS on 4K because I record on 4K, and I mostly record on 24 frames per second or in 24 frames per second. And in terms of quality, I generally record in high quality instead of battery saver. So these are the settings that I choose to keep my DJI Pocket 2 on. And since I'm recording in 4K, the glamour mode is generally always off, as it says the glamour effects only available in 1080p, and it's not available in 4K. So if you want your face to look glamorous, then in that case you will have to dial down on your resolution and bring it down to 1080p. Another thing that you could do is, if you move over to this button, these three buttons here right at the bottom, I'm just going to show it again, these three dots. If you click on that, then you have an option of selecting whether you want to record in Pro mode or in the standard mode. I generally keep it on the Pro mode. The reason why I keep it on the Pro mode is because it allows you to get access to those advanced settings where you can choose from the different things. For instance, I'm gonna switch it off and I'm gonna come back here to this screen. You see that option from right on top, it has now disappeared. Now in case if you want that option to appear, then in that case you have to click on the Pro mode, and now I have these options of controlling the ISO and controlling the shutter speed. But if I keep the Pro mode off, then I will not have that option. So generally I do like keeping the Pro mode on. Apart from that, what I also like doing is I like shooting in Cine-like, a flat profile. The reason why I like shooting in this flat profile, especially when it comes to low light videography, is the fact that it is able to capture more details in this flat profile, and then I can take that video, I can work with it in post, and I can color adjust to get the most out of my footage. So in case you are doing low light photography, the best settings that you can keep your DJI Pocket 2 on, apart from the ISO and the shutter speed, I'm not getting into that, but if we just talk about the resolution, for low light photography, the best resolution would be 4K. The video frame rate does not matter in terms of low light photography, but what does matter is keeping it in this flat profile mode, the D-Cine-like, because in my personal opinion, it does capture more details and it gives you that flexibility to work with in post. Apart from that, if you are shooting in low light, again, you can control your ISO and your shutter speed as well. Now, generally when I'm recording in, let's say 24 frames per second, I generally choose to keep this shutter speed on 148 or 150 in this case, because there is no option of 48. Now, whatever you're recording in, for instance, if you're recording in 30, I advise that you always double down on the shutter speed and you keep the shutter speed on 60, 1/60. If I'm recording in 24 frames per second or 25 frames per second, then in that case, I generally keep the shutter speed on 150. Now, in terms of the ISO, well, obviously, if you're shooting it in low light, then keep the ISO to maximum because you want to capture as much light as possible in your video. So if you're doing low light videography, then you're better off in keeping your ISO to the highest, and also the shutter speed should be double of what your frame rate is. So I'm just going to keep it on auto for now and just going to step out of it. In case of low light photography, this, in my personal opinion, is quite effective. And remember, please do remember to keep your color profile to D-Cine-like. This is important because the D-Cine-like does capture more details and it helps you in post-production. So do keep this option in mind. Okay, this first video is on complete auto settings. Now there is something in the background. It's completely dark, you could say. Well, there is some amount of light that is coming inside the room. It's not pitch black, but you can see that with the auto settings, this is how it looks. This is how dark it is, although the room is not as dark as it may appear in the video. But I just wanted to give you an idea. If you keep all the settings on auto mode, what will it look like? Completely auto, and it's recorded in the normal color profile. This is not D-Cine-like. Now let's quickly move over to the manual settings and let's take a look at how that impacts your video quality. Now, this video is getting recorded in the standard color profile. This is not the flat profile. But what I've done is I have moved the shutter speed to 1/50. Now, generally, the rule that I follow is that if I'm recording in 24 frames per second, then I just double the shutter speed. So in this case, since 1/48 is not available, I generally keep it in 1/50. And the ISO has been cranked up all the way to maximum. So the ISO is at 6400 in this case, and the shutter speed is 1/50th. The camera has not moved from the position. The lighting conditions have not changed. It is the same as the previous video. But you see how you can change the quality of the video by tweaking the shutter speed and the ISO. Now we are finally gonna move over to the flat profile. Now in this video, I'm recording using the color profile, which is D-Cine-like. The ISO, when you put the color setting on D-Cine-like, the ISO automatically shifts to 1600. So the ISO is 1600. The shutter speed is the same, which is 1/50. And as you can see, the colors look a little muted or dull, but this is the flat profile. So what the flat profile basically does is it captures more detail, so that when you take it and try to edit the video in post, you have more details that you can play around with. So you have that flexibility, you could say. So that's why what I've learned over a period of time through my own experiences is that when I record on this flat profile, the D-Cinelike in this case, and keep the setting in high quality instead of battery saver, and the shutter speed to double or whatever the frame rate is. In my case right now, since I'm recording in 24 frames per second, I have kept the shutter speed in 1/50. But in case you are recording in 30 frames per second, I advise that you keep the shutter speed to 1/50. And if you are recording in D-Cinelike, just crank up the ISO to the maximum, which is 1600. And my optimum settings in a dark environment would be this: recording in D-Cinelike with manual ISO and shutter speed set. I haven't played around with the white balance at all. I've kept the white balance on auto. So this is the output that I'm getting. And again, you have the flexibility of playing around and changing the color profile of this video. That is the advantage of D-Cinelike, or the flat profile that you're shooting it in. And also what I've noticed is the amount of noise and the amount of grain that is there in the video is comparatively lower to your other settings. So that's perhaps one of the other reasons as to why I prefer to record in the flat profile, the D-Cinelike, especially when I'm recording in low lighting conditions. And please do keep in mind that if you're recording in low lighting conditions, never keep your setting on battery saver. It impacts your video in a negative way. You've got more grain, you've got more noise when you set your video quality to battery saver. So always keep it on high quality video. That's what I've learned from my own experiences. So I thought I will share this with you all as well. So what do you think of, all these three different modes? Do let me know in the comment box below as to whether you feel that the D-Cinelike is a great version. Now, the next section that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna color correct the D-Cinelike, and I'm gonna show you how good the video looks when you do a little bit of color correction and you grade it in post. So let's take a look at that footage as well. Okay folks, so that brings us to the end of another video. What do you think of this video? Please do let me know in the comment box below. I would love to hear from you. In fact, after posting every single video, I look forward to your comments, to your suggestions, because that's what keeps this channel going and growing. So please keep them coming. And also, please hit that like and subscribe button if you like this video. It's free, nobody's charging you for it. And in case you want to get notified with all my latest videos, you know what to do. Please hit that bell icon as well. So that's a wrap for this one, folks. This is me signing off. Until we meet again in the next one, take care, stay safe, God bless you all.